it's Janet with Try It Like It Create It, and today we're going to be making a magical card. And so I want to show you the materials I have in front of me here. I have some silver embossing powder. I have the best glue ever I'm going to use to put everything together. And then I have this dye spray finish from Izink, and it is silver. And then I have these pieces that I've made. It was actually a stencil that I had used the positive of, and then this is the negative of that stencil. I just took the stencil and ran it through my die cutting machine and transferred off the stencil. So I will link to that process, but I want to make this piece here shiny, and that's why I'm going to use the spray finish. And I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but the piece of cardstock that I'm using here is actually called Crystal, and it is it has a shiny finish to it, a sparkly finish to it. So I'm going to set that off to the side, and I'm going to take this to my spray booth and spray it down with the dye so that it will be sparkly. So while that spray is drying, I have this stamp that says magical here loaded into my works board, and I have a piece of vellum, and I'm going to stamp the word magical using Versamark, and then we're going to emboss that with silver ink. So I'm just going to put that in place, and it's centered there, and I'm just going to give it a good push. And let's make sure we've got it down good. It looks like we do. And so now I'm just going to bring in a scrap piece of paper so that we can apply our embossing powder. Looks good. Just dusting off the excess because I typically forget to pounce this first with powder. So let me just clean off the excess here. All right. And then I'm going to apply a heat gun, starting with from the bottom. Okay, so now all we have to do is put everything together, and I am going to use, excuse me, I'm going to use the best glue ever, and I made a little strip of the same pattern to go on the inside of the card, and so I'm just going to ink that first, or excuse me, put adhesive on that first, and then just put that in place on the inside. And the thing I like about using a wet glue when putting cards together is that when it's a wet adhesive, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room to move things around before it's permanently placed. So put that in place. I'm just using my dry erase eraser to just kind of push that down into place and make sure it's nice. And then we're just going to work on the front. For this, so here's our piece that we have sprayed, and it's shiny. I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but it is very shiny. And here is our embossed word magical. And I want to take that and make it into, it's called a belly band. So it wraps around and it's actually going to be loose on the front side of this card. And what we're going to do is we're just going to apply the adhesive on the back. So let me trim some of this away since we now know what size it's going to be. And then all I need to do is put adhesive on these tabs. And the vellum I'm working with came from Cardstock. And I have heard that other vellums shrink or melt when you apply heat, and I have not had that experience with this vellum. So just to let you know, if you are looking for a vellum that you can emboss on, this one worked really well. Alright, so I pushed that down into place, and that is looking good. And so now all we have to do is adhere it to the front of our card. So once again, we're just covering the back with our adhesive. And then I'm going to place that onto the front of our card and center it. Looks good. And then once we like the placement, once again, I am just going to push down on it to make sure that everything is stuck down in place. And there is our magical card.